What is up, my gurus? Thank you for tuning in again to another one of these videos. Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter because there's basically, I just want to give a quick snapshot as to where we are in the market, and I think that it would make a lot of sense to sort of look at both sides of the coin here, sort of looking at it from a perspective where we could still see more downside and a perspective where we should start seeing some recovery from these zones. Why I think both cases are valid and where my personal bias lies in terms of the market. So this is basically what we're looking at. It's going to be a super short video today, guys. I'm only going to look at Bitcoin. I will show you guys how something strange in the alts as well, but for now we're just going to look at Bitcoin virtually because every single token in the market at the moment is all following Bitcoin. I am also going to take a quick look at the Fear and Greed Index as well as the S&P 500. So guys, obviously we saw, just to sort of recap and touch base as to where we were last, we saw this great move up and out of the wedge here. We saw a retest of the wedge, we saw a bit more bullishness, and then obviously it put in a nice and fat bull trap, which I called around these zones as well. Again, guys, I didn't go short on the market because at the end of the day, the sentiment is still bullish, and these sort of swings can often tend to hit stops quite easily, especially in the realm of manipulation, which is where we see the bulls and the bears trapping each other. So I'd rather just wait for some true bias, some easy and visible sentiment, and then try and catch the bottom for a nice long in a bullish market sentiment as well. So what are we seeing here at the moment, guys? Obviously, we lost a very important indicator, which is the bull market support band. We are now below the bull market support band. It is a bit of a lagging indicator, so I'm just going to quickly switch up the time frame here. If you guys ever see the indicator lagging like it is now, so where it's behind the current candles, you can simply go here, change the time frame over here to weekly should do it. Let's see. Otherwise monthly does it as well. And then you can sort of get a lot better of an indication as to where we are. So you guys can see now, if I just click on the indicator here, click it on here, just there we go. So now it's in front of the candle. So you guys can see we've actually had a cross in the EMAs there as well. So we've had a cross in the support band. As you guys can see there, the red is undercutting the green, which tends to denominate a flip in sort of where the candles are at the moment. So unfortunately that's not the greatest sign. This is sort of the band, these moving averages were sort of the indicator and the band that would predicate a bullish market basically, and we sort of seem to lose that. It's not the only time we've lost it and could have potentially lost all hope. You guys can see over here, I just want to show you guys over here, this wick, which happened in September, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go, around the 20th of September. This wicked below the bull market support band. And I think that there might have been a lot of people who would have said, you know, shit, it's all over. We've lost the bull market support band. We got the cross over here, it's death cross, etc., etc., etc. Except you would have been sorely mistaken, because off the back of that, and we're looking again at the weekly candles here, off the back of that move, you could very easily see a rather nice move to the ATH. So I'm not going to rule anything out here. I'm not going to say that it is or isn't game over from the bull market support band. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm not even going to try and sort of, you know, guess the next move specifically, but I just wanted to show you guys where we are with the bull market support band at the moment. I'm going to switch back to the daily time frame, and I want to hop back into the charts over here, more of the intraday chart, less the macro chart, and just take a look at the case for, you know, both sides of the coin, the bullish case, the bearish case, where my head's at, and why I believe it to be so. So guys, as you can see here, we've got a few different indicators. Let me just open up the chart a little bit bigger so everybody can see it nicely. We've got a few indicators here that tend to lend themselves quite nicely to sort of directional bias and judging where the market's going and how we're going to get there. And those are the RSI, which is the stochastic index. Again, these are all momentum oscillators. They sort of give you an indication as to where the market is, you know, where the market's buying, where the market's selling, and they usually tend to be quite right, especially down when it hits the bottom here. This yellow line sort of indicates the true bottom of the RSI. I guess the top one would be somewhere around here as well. You can see that we're heading to the bottom, and what we'll be looking for is a cross of the blue over the red to come up. So we'd be looking to see that the blue sort of turns up here, the red sort of comes down and maybe does something like that and follows onwards. Once we get that cross down at the bottom here, which is where it should be, then we will know, and that will be the signal for me to basically open the longs and start trading again. We do currently have a Bitcoin long that is open as well, and I opened that basically on the basis that we could still see a reversal from these parts. Now, in terms of the bullish scenario, that would be the bullish scenario, is that we potentially look at a little bit of sideways action here, something along the lines of this, you know, and then we will get the explosion once we get that RSI cross as mentioned. Another indicator that we are looking at the moment, or at least that I'm taking note of, is the MACD. Again, moving oscillators, converging, diverging oscillators too, and they both show momentum really nicely as well. The momentum is usually shown through here, and I have done a video explaining what this is before, so if you're not too sure, just go back and look at that video. But basically this green and red indicates the momentum, so you can see we're entering into a bearish momentum phase. We probably see something like that. Now, I don't really know how long it will last. You guys can see that it isn't always an exact science. It can sometimes come back up, create some bullish traps, as it were, and then go back down into a bearish momentum again, only to recover. And then what happens is you generally see this recovery or this flip when you get a cross. So you guys can see at the top here, we've had a cross. That is a bearish cross, and you can see it introduces bearish momentum. Over here, we had a bullish cross, and obviously that introduced bullish momentum. So I think it's plain to see that there is definitely some bearish pressure that needs to be taken care of, and probably needs to be flushed out of the system, which is fine. Again, I'd rather get that bearishness out now. These are totally healthy. These are great corrections, and we need this sort of corrective pattern in order for us to sort of put in these big ATHs. The only thing is that, unfortunately, more down from here, whereas basically you guys can see there is a bit of a loose trend line here. It's not an exact trend line, but it is sort of forming a slight base off of these wicks over here, those couple wicks there. If we do lose this and we lose 42, the next pit stop is down here at 40k, and again, that's going to mean that we are going to need to get above the bull market support band. We're going to need to flip it again and confirm it as support. It's tough work for the bulls, and a lot of it has to depend also on the stock market and the general sentiment of the stock market. So let's just hop into the stock market quick and just have a look at where we are at the moment with the SPY and the Nasdaq as well. So I mean, we might see I was going to say, we're going to see a very similar pattern. Again, for those of you that don't know, Bitcoin follows the stock market heavily. It's very reliant on the stock market's performance for a number of reasons. If you're not sure, please go back into the channel and check for those correlations. But you can see that it's putting in exactly the same here. Bearish cross on the MACD, waiting for a bullish cross on the RSI from being sort of oversold. And then we should see a flip in momentum as well. But yeah, stock market is basically exactly where Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's following the stock market, and of course alts are following Bitcoin to a T. Have a look at your oscillators down over here and look how they're all the same. MACD same, RSI same, all of them. You can go through every single token. I mean, we are getting a few that are a little bit ahead of the game. For example, here on Ocean, we're getting a bit of a cross on the RSI. But again, there's divergence between the MACD and the RSI, meaning that the MACD is saying here bearish momentum's coming, RSI saying hang on, we've got a bullish cross and upward is coming. So that divergence tends to create sort of a bit of a dichotomy between are we going up and down, and in general we need to wait for Bitcoin's bias to see exactly where that may be. Some coins are doing really nicely. We're seeing these coins sort of moving up off the back of sort of this Bitcoin stability and the Bitcoin slowdown. Bitcoin is printing a doji candle over there, and obviously if we're looking at Bitcoin dominance, it is still quite down from where it was in the March zone, when Bitcoin was quite bearish. So that's pretty much where we're at the moment, guys. Again, it's a little bit on a knife edge at the moment. I would like to see a recovery from this point. Whether or not we are going to get that, time will tell. I am expecting more bearish momentum. Unfortunately, look, truth of the matter is this MACD thing never lies. I've never seen it, sort of print wrong. There are times where it does reverse on its in on itself, but I mean, when it's coming from this high, it's generally going to be pretty spot on in its guess around the bearishness. So yeah, that's pretty much my analysis at the moment. That's where my head is at. I'm waiting for us to get to the bottom of this so that we can catch the longs from the bottom. The only problem I can say with that is that the whole market's going to want to do the same, so we need to be careful with where that's going to be, and we're going to have to use technical analysis to judge that. So that's pretty much it. That's the long and the short of it. If you guys have any questions, I will be in the channel like I always am. And obviously, for those of you that are enjoying the content, please just continue to help me subscribe, like, and comment on these videos for more. I will keep the updates rolling. And yeah, like I said, if anyone has any questions, let me know in the channel. Otherwise, I wish you a blessed and a green day, my gurus.